Who was the fifth and final member of the Raw Men's Survivor Series team? He wasn't that big of a shocker, but we'll tell you anyway as WGS-TV reviews Monday Night Raw for the week of November 7th, 2016. Hey, YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
Oh, hey, folks, this is Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're watching WGS-TV. Tough guy.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. I am your friendly neighborhood Russell Gamer, and joining me on the Raw review this week, ladies and gentlemen, you know him as the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio himself, the hardcore icon. I view him as an icon, Rick Head. Rick, how you doing?
You know what? I'm going to tell you, I am doing absolutely phenomenal. I'm ecstatic. You know, all wrestling aside, you know, we have some great things going on. We have a new president. Of course, we have the new law passed. Yes, Massachusetts is now 420 acceptable.
And so is California, from what I heard on the news. But
yeah, but I don't live in California.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. First off, I want to apologize for the Raw review being a day late. Yesterday, I did like a huge recording session of Until Dawn. If you guys want to check out the latest one, and needless to say, I do get jump scared quite a bit. Be sure you check out part 5. That began the new session. But anyway, this week on Raw, they would start to build up for the Survivor Series with the women's, men's, and tag team elimination matches. The reveals on the final members of the men's and women's teams really didn't come off as a shock. Now, just who were named to the teams? To answer this question, let's talk about Raw. McMahon would open up Raw this week, introing the entire Raw Men's Survivor Series team and revealed who the fifth and final member of the team would be. And to no one's surprise, Rick, it was Seth Rollins.
Well, I think that was, again, you had to look at the list. They were building people who were pitting against each other, who were having issues with each other, and then all of a sudden. So, yeah, it was the obvious given. You can say they tipped the hat to me. It was a given.
Yep, especially with what happened last week at the end of the main event with Seth Rollins making the save for Reigns at the end of the match. Now, having a fatal 5-way for the main event to me was a good idea, considering the fact that both teams on Raw and SmackDown Live consisted of heels and faces on one team. So seeing the problems on Team Raw really wasn't that big of a surprise to me. And for once, Rick, I would have to give some credit to WWE Creative for some ingenious writing.
I wouldn't say ingenious writing. I think the fact is they knew that this one's going to be a middle. I mean, they're still promoting the major main event, which I don't know why. It's Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. And for those of you who think that the other title is going to be up for line, they may be, but unfortunately, the Goldberg is going to end. Brock Lesnar is going to be the main event.
With both champions being involved in the Survivor Series matches, I don't believe they will have any championship matches other than the Intercontinental match and the Cruiserweight match. I'll discuss the Cruiserweight Championship match tomorrow on the SmackDown Live review. But today, what we're going to be looking at is Monday Night Raw. And since WWE was in Scotland this week, they would debut Noam Dar, who was part of the Cruiserweight Classic as the tag team partner of Brian Kendrick as they took on Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander. For the most part, this was an okay match, with the finish being Swann getting a victory roll pin on Kendrick to pick up the win. And Rick, now this is twice that this has happened, that Rich Swann has went over on Kendrick. First in the match before Hell in a Cell when Kendrick won the title, and now Monday night with Swann getting the pin on Kendrick in the tag team match.
Well, I think the obvious is the same. We're seeing that as a setup because Rich Swann, obviously, he's got a lot of charisma. He's athletic. He definitely grabs a crowd. So I think we're going to be seeing him going for the title, if not taking the title very soon.
Now, with Kendrick bad-mouthing Dar after the match and blaming him for the loss was a good way for Kendrick to draw heat with the Scotland crowd, and Dar fighting back against Kendrick put him over with the crowd even more. Now, Rick, do you think WWE will follow up with this in any way?
Well, keep in mind right now he's the newest member, so they're gonna push that. They're gonna push the Kendrick. Don, forgive me if I don't remember his name.
Noam Dar.
Noam Dar, thank you. So obviously they're setting that up because the feud between T.J. Perkins and Kendrick is winding down, so that they're slowly starting to build that up.
Now, was there any reason in particular they put a lot of focus on the Hurricane Rana spot to the outside from last week with Perkins landing on the ring apron? As such, is Perkins injured by any chance?
Honestly, from what I read, he had minor injuries, but I don't think it's going to be any threatening or something where he's going to be out for a significant amount of time. That, again, is reports. What the official word is, I do not know.
WWE would now put some focus on the tag team version of the Survivor Series match with the Raw tag teams with Enzo, Amore, and Big Cass, Luke Gallows, and Karl Anderson, the Golden Truth, Sheamus and Cesaro, and the team captains, the New Day, who came out dressed as people from Braveheart to play up to the Scotland crowd, Rick, who ate that crap up like it was Halloween candy.
You know what? I absolutely agree with you. You knew they were coming out for that particular reason. And, of course, Sheamus being very brilliant in playing into them because, you know, the Irish and the Scottish are not exactly like each other. It's like kind of like Boston and New York. You know, we're close enough where we just hate each other. And, you know, it was very, very brilliant done. So.
Yeah, he made the statement of what a great Celtic nation Ireland is. And that drew a lot of heat from the Scotland crowd. And another thing that I liked about the segment is how Gallows and Anderson stuck to being heels in this angle, saying that at any chance they would stab everyone in the back, which led up to the next match, which was New Day taking on Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson. And for what it was, Rick, it was a pretty decent tag match.
You know, first off, Gallows and Anderson, they've always impressed me. New Day, it took me a while to get used to their gimmick, but they polished it off nicely. And the fact that the Anderson Gallows, got that win, you got to wonder if they're in line for a title shot.
And in what way will their win play into the angle of the tag team Survivor Series match? You never know what WWE could do with that. Now, apparently, R-Truth traded their spots in the match to the Shining Stars for their timeshares. I don't know what else to say about that, Rick.
Well, it's obviously a comical value, comic thing, because they've been trying to push the Shining Stars whole travel agency thing, and it's not working at all. Golden Truth, again, these are two teams that are trying to be funny, and it's not working out. So for right now, that's what it was. It was just a comic thing, and on every team, if you notice, you're gonna have that banter fodder, that one guy that's gonna job out.
Yeah, the finish of the match was Primo with the dirty pin on Goldust to pick up the win. So I want to reiterate something, Rick, that I said on Facebook Monday night. Anybody else get the feeling that we traded down with the Shining Stars now in the Tag Team Survivor Series elimination match?
Well, you know, that's a very fair point. If you look at the, Epico and Primo, they've not exactly had the best run in WWE. First, they tried the tag team as Epico and Primo with their uncle at the time, Carlito, who was in. That didn't really work. That phased out really quick. Then they tried to do the Mexican, the mask guys.
Los Matadores.
Thank you very much. That's how memorable they were. And then now they're doing this, and it's like you're watching it. It's just, you just shake your head and say, you know, where are they going with this? Why it's not working?
I'm not sure how to answer that either, or how this will play up in the Survivor Series Tag Team Elimination match. Now, when it comes to the Women's Survivor Series Elimination match, we only knew of three members at the time. And they were the Raw Women's Champion Charlotte, Bayley, and Nia Jax. The other two members were Sasha Banks, as expected, and Alicia Fox. Rick, what was your reaction to the announcement of Alicia Fox being named?
Again, the same thing. You know, every team of both SmackDown and Raw, they're going to have those jobbers. They're the fillers, so to speak. You know, they're the ones that, if they don't get eliminated first, they'll be eliminated somewhere in the middle just to keep things somewhat interesting. But yeah, Yeah, make no mistake. People like Alicia Fox are not going to be winning at all. She's again filler.
Well, let me say this though. At least she's better than Dana Brooke, who Charlotte tried to pass off as a final member, but she was really out there for the 6-woman tag team match as Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Alicia Fox took on Nia Jax, Charlotte, and Dana Brooke. The Scotland crowd was really into Bayley big time Monday night, and I don't blame them. However, I want to mention this. Bayley gave Michael Cole a hug. So now I have another reason to hate his ass. Who wouldn't want a hug from Bayley? I mean, really. But however, the tag match was worked really well, with the finish of the match being Bayley hitting the Bayley to belly over Charlotte to pick up the win. And Rick, this could be used as part of a build-up between these two over the Raw Women's Championship, wouldn't you think?
It's a strong possibility. You still have to consider the fact that right now, if I'm not mistaken, she's still in a heated feud with Sasha Banks. So before Bayley, gets into the picture, she might get into maybe, the next Raw pay-per-view, whichever one that is. And we could probably maybe see a triple threat match or the start of a Bayley champion feud, whoever the champion may be at that time.
If you guys recall on SmackDown Live last week, Dolph Ziggler issued an open challenge to anyone on Raw for the Intercontinental Championship. So the next match was made with Rusev taking on Sami Zayn, with the winner going on to face Ziggler for the title at Survivor Series. Lana was once again in her hot pink flannel. Again, why is that so hard for me to say? Hot pink flannel. So once again, I say, thank you, Lana. Rusev and Zayn had a really good match, in my opinion, Rick, but the finish being Zayn hitting the haluva kick on Rusev, who was on the top rope to pick up the win. So I still say, good match with Rusev and Zayn.
It was an alright. For me, it was an okay match. I wouldn't say it was like over the top. And that was pretty much all it really was for me. It was just an okay match. I can't rave or bitch about it either way.
So now at Survivor Series, it's going to be Dolph Ziggler defending the Intercontinental Championship against Sami Zayn. And Rick, right there, that has the makings for a really good match. Absolutely. And,
it's when you see these types of matches, you got to wonder, which direction they're going to take it. And that's all I really have to say on that one. It's really just lately wrestling for me has become a little bit dry, so it's hard for me to make an honest judgment one way or another on certain things.
The main event was up next, the Fatal 5-Way that featured the Raw Men's Survivor Series team. It was Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho versus Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. And in my personal opinion, Rick, they delivered on a great main event for Raw.
We'll agree with you on that one. And because, well, first off, they pushed Braun hard. Even though he didn't get the win, he didn't get the loss, but he was dominating. And, they're trying to show that maybe he can step up to the plate along the lines of Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and such and so forth. But I love the ending. The ending was great because they're slowly building this feud between Owens and Jericho. Because, pretty much Kevin Owens just fell on top of Chris Jericho, was out cold, 1, 2, 3.
But how about the Shield teaser during the match with Reigns and Rollins, did with Strowman on the outside?
For me, obviously I love the Shield. A lot of the fans love the Shield, so definitely they're pushing that angle or teasing that angle. Do I see them working as a tag team in the near future? Absolutely. But you know what, though? You keep in mind, a lot of people, they could be doing this for one or two reasons. One, to hopefully get Roman Reigns back in the fans' favorite. If not, I could see, Reigns maybe even turning on Rollins.
The possibility is there for that to happen. Anyway, overall score on Raw this week gets a 3 out of 5. A somewhat decent show, as best match of the night definitely goes to the Fatal 5-Way, with worst match of the night going to the Golden Truth taking on the Shining Stars. My head just hurts just thinking about it. Rick, over to you, your overall score and your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
Well, the Golden Truth Shining Stars, yeah, I'll definitely say the worst. And the best match, I always, the Cruiserweights have done nothing but impress me. So I'm going to give them kudos, but the main event match was it.
All right, guys and gals, that's been our take on Monday Night Raw this week. What would you know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers? Your thoughts on Monday Night Raw? What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw? Definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget, this Thursday night on Sports Entertainment Tonight, we will be talking live to wrestling promoter and good friend of WGS-TV and HWR, Vinny the Guido, who I'm sure will have a lot to say. And if you guys have any questions for Vinny the Guido, be sure to be here on the live stream Thursday night, 9 p.m. Central Time, to ask your questions to Vinny the Guido in the chat room. Rick, where can fans check you out on HWR?
Well, right now, HWR, our podcast, we're kind of slowing things down a little bit. But, you know, we're still always talking about wrestling. We are over in a chat room, and that's called the HWR chat room in the group sections. And there I'm posting a lot of blogs, a lot of, like, top fives, things that I think will cause, you know, a bigger discussions. I like those heated discussions. There's a lot of chat groups on Facebook that don't want any heated, you know, conversations. Me, hey, I say embrace the heat, because that's what's going to make it, you know, interesting. So, you know, if you got something to say about wrestling, I don't care what it is, good, bad, disrespectful, I don't care. Just don't get personal. Otherwise, it's for free for all.
And I believe as of today, the HWR chat room has reached 900 members. So congrats to you, Rick, on reaching 900 members on your Facebook group. If you guys want to check out WGS-TV on social media, that's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links will be provided in the description box below. Don't forget to check out the links I'll have in the annotations at the end of this video. And if you guys want to see more of good wrestling talk with awesome gameplays right here on WGS-TV, you know the way to do it. You got to hit that subscribe button down below. So with that being said, for the hardcore host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, Rick Head, I'm your friendly neighborhood wrestle gamer, and I'll see you at the next Warp Zone. Bye, guys!